Hi there, and thank you for tuning in. Before I begin, I just wanted to set my intentions straight. This video is not intended to cause harm for anyone or fear or offend. It is merely just for me to, share my truth and my reality of being adopted and the feelings that have came along with it. And I know it will be relatable, and I hope that this will help you, for whatever reason you're watching this video, learn and educate yourself a little bit more on the head of an adoptee, and we'll just dive into that and explore. So basically, while writing this video, I did consider asking other adoptees in my support group, like, what should we have you know? What should the world know? Or YouTube know? And I decided against it, but only because I think that all adoptees have their own unique story, reality of being adopted, and I want everyone to share it because the more the merrier, and it needs to be a thing that it's many voices, not just one. So hopefully this is, one of many YouTube videos about being adopted and what it entails, and not like this is how it is for everyone that's adopted, but I'm just gonna, go over some of the similarities that I have learned and just share some of my personal struggles with you. So basically, I have met a lot of adoptees since the age of 14 to now in my adulthood. I still am coming across adoptees, and there is a very evident trend in insecurities, and as an adult more I'm running into substance abuse and things like that, but self-soothing and things like that. I was in psychiatric centers and foster care and group homes, and there was a very common trend that was very hard to deny. A lot of us were adoptees, whether it was at birth or through foster care. I was adopted at birth. My biological parents were both 18 at the time, and it was an open adoption, so I do have open communication with both my birth mom and my birth dad. But basically, this trend in these facilities was, we were adopted or we were in foster care, and it didn't really matter what our upbringing was to this point. We all kind of dealt with the same thing, if that would make sense. I was adopted by quote-unquote normal people. I wasn't neglected in the home. I wasn't, abused in the home. But there was still, this thing driving me, away from that and making me feel so bad and having such low self-esteem and, feeling just kind of out of control and confused and very alone. Even when I was very little, just being very, very alone and just strange feelings like that, So this summer, because of this trend I was noticing, I kind of dived deeper. I joined some adoptee support groups, and I was shown this book, which I'm going to show. It's called The Primal Wound, and basically it is just so educational and so actually relieving. It took me a really long time to finish this book, not because it's a long book, it's actually pretty short, but because it was too much. It was you read it and there's just so much weight lifted off your shoulders, because for me it just gave me a lot of truths that I hadn't been told yet regarding my adoption. And I think an important thing that she mentions in this book, her name's Nancy Newton, is she mentions just that the abandonment was remembered. Baby you, so me, baby Madeline, remembers the handoff. Or not the handoff, but I remember the motions. Meaning, when you are in your mother's womb, you're hearing her voice, you might be smelling her smells, you're at least smelling her. She's the first person you smell when you're born, is what I'm trying to say. You get very accustomed to your mother, And in adoption, what happens is you're born and then you're handed off and you're smelling all these new smells and you're hearing these new voices. And basically what she's saying in this book is, it is remembered. And to me, I 100% believe that, because I've always have had issues of being left. Like when I was little, I wouldn't sleep over at friends' houses and things like that, because just of this extreme fear that something is bad is going to happen, and it wasn't until I was 18 that I learned that, it's because, I was adopted and I have fear of abandonment. So growing up not knowing that that's the root cause, it causes things to get a little confusing. I think as a kid, you'll be in denial about the reality, and your brain isn't able to unravel such mature thoughts. And I think that if you are an infertile couple wanting to adopt, there's always going to be children to adopt. This isn't going to be a problem that ends. But I think educating yourself to the fullest degree and doing it for the right reasons, not for consolation prize purposes, or I guess I shouldn't say consolation prize, but that's how an adoptee feels when they are adopted, because we are aware that we are not option 1, we are option 2. If you were able to, have a child on your own, I would not be in the picture. So growing up with that does make you, probably move a little different, I would assume. I know it did for me. Knowing my biological parents has been beneficial for me, because I was able to finally do, genetic mirroring, like, I look like them, or just the same mannerisms, the same anxieties and things like that. It's very relatable to meet your biological family, because yes, you can have a very good adoptive family, but there's just similarities through blood and genetics that you can't deny. So meeting my birth parents was also very relieving for me. In my support groups, and just for me, without even being aware of the support groups, I know that holidays for adoptees are very hard. Even as a child, they could be hard. I remember when I was little, I would just hide in my room. I didn't feel like I belonged, kind of. I felt like a huge black sheep, like I was in the wrong spot. And I would just sit in my room during, like, the family get-togethers and whatnot. And I just know that that's a thing that, adoptees deal with. And how can we get past that? I don't know. But I think that turning it into something of your own power, being able to be comfortable in your solitude, maybe not comfortable, but knowing you have your own back always and you've made it this far, keep going. That's what I want to say to anybody that's struggling right now during the holidays. For people that are using the terms like real parent or give up or give away, just try to educate them. Those things are really negative to say to an adoptee or birth mom or mom, like saying who's your real mom, like what do you mean? It's rude. It's really rude. So another thing is just, I grew up with a lot of shame. I know my adopted parents love me, but like I said, I also knew I was consolation prize. And as I grew, my difficultness became apparent, and I don't know. It's just, you kind of feel like dodgy goods, because it's like, oh dang, like I didn't end up being like who you probably wanted me to be, and that causes more, self-esteem issues being an adoptee. Us adoptees can really struggle with denial and not seeing things for what they are, because our hearts are fragile and vulnerable to separation. The thing about me is I'm always going to tell the truth about adoption to anyone. because there are benefits, but the authentic truth will help more than my silence, because I do have a story regarding this, and I know several adoption is a thing in America, it's a thing around the world, and I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with, but a lot of people are silent about it, because like I said, we are raised and told, bio mom, adopt family, me, we are all told that there's no bad side of this. It's adoption, the unwanted baby gets the family, the people that can't have a baby get a baby, everyone wins, right? But there's a lot more to it. And I think just the more awareness that is, given to us about it, the better we can do as humans to figure out and help those that have dealt with this, So I don't really know how to end this, because it's a lot of chaotic writing. But like I said, if you're struggling with being adopted, start going to therapy and start reading and educating yourself, and just know you're not alone. This is a thing, and it's a hard thing to deal with, and feeling like you have nobody to talk to about it, I would imagine, would be even harder. And to young people, I just want to say that, yeah, people are going to say, some really arrogant things to you because they are not educated enough to know. So when people aren't educated, bad things come out of their mouth. So never take it personally. Just know that that person doesn't know as much as I do about this topic. And then you can kind of, relax and let it go. So yeah, I send love out to all my adoptees, and I send love out to all my people struggling. And I hope that this video, at least helped one person. I know it helped me, because it kind of let a weight off my shoulder a little bit. But thank you so much for listening, and I hope this did something for you. Thank you.